Hello, amazing Illumineers. This is Gentle Olaf and want to recap exactly what happened on my full experience for the Indianapolis DLC. And first off, start at the beginning. Thursday, drove up with my partner from Virginia to Indianapolis. And the highlight was actually Buc-ee's. First time there. Amazing food, amazing drinks, great atmosphere. I am now a believer in the Beaver. So then we get to Friday, and just one event I was doing, which was the Infinity Ticket Quest. And the reason I was going through 7 rounds of Infinity before the main event is I wasn't sure what I was going to be playing. I was seriously considering playing Steel Song, potentially Dogs. Both are incredibly powerful decks, but what I brought was green purple evasives. You get Diablo shift almost every single game because you have 4 1-drop Diablos to shift upon. And this is a pure mid-range deck. It's great against any aggressive deck, and if you play it well, you can also beat pretty much every mid-range deck. The big problem, of course, is that it is very weak to control. There's only a few characters here that quest for more than one. So all the games do take a little bit of time. And without that early Diablo card draw, it can fall apart. But if you know the matchups, know what to target, you can have a lot of success with this deck. So how'd I do? First round, I did play against Green Steel. So how the matchup usually works is that you're even on Diablo, you shifted a little bit earlier, but they can just take out all of your early stuff with the steel cards and then run away with the game. The problem with Diablo Steel and why I didn't bring it is that without card draw, it can do almost nothing in the mid game. If your Diablo goes away or if they don't give you cards in hand for the Prince John to do anything, you can actually not do a thing. And that's exactly what happened. I was able to get the games long enough that I was able to overcome, and I did win 2-0 with green purple against green steel. Going to round two, faced the most hyper aggressive deck that I faced all weekend. And I forgot whether I had the player draw, but I did manage to win 2-1. All 3 games were very, very close. This was a very good player who knew exactly how to pilot aggro, but managed to get there in the end. This, of course, is the worst matchup for green purple, in my opinion, and the results show that. I lost both games because there are early evasive answers with the Ink Runner and the Jebediah. And what this deck does is that it presents a lock upon you, and the only way to win is to get under it. But green purple's just a tad bit too slow. By the time I was getting to 17, 18 lore, they had like 30 items out. I was able to just take out everything that I had with a Sisu or Be Prepared, and eventually just put the Tamatoa and Lucky Dime combo together and win from there. So, say la vie. Moving on to round four. Played against Steel Song, which I think is the best matchup green purple has. Again, you'd think that Steel would be able to just take out the Diablos and then run away with the game. But again, the problem with Steel Song is that it needs its card draw. If you don't give them the Rapunzel triggers, if you take out their Beast or their Aerial before they can draw cards with it, you basically just have smooth sailing to win the game. And that's why I was able to do both games and won that round. So already up 3-1 at this point. I was feeling good. And between rounds, I actually helped my partner get cards signed at the Artist Alley, which was actually pretty relaxing. You're just chatting with other people that are fans of the game. All 3 artists that were at the DLC were amazing and friendly and just happy to be there. So it was awesome chatting with them for the few seconds while getting cards signed and letting them go on to get to the next person. Would definitely recommend. But round 5, another bad matchup. Not quite as bad as items, but the Maui Shark does present a lot of problems for you if you can't get rid of it. And I unfortunately did not win a game. Also, both games, my opponent was able to get the carpet bag popsicle lock on me to just draw like 2 to 3 cards a game, a turn, and decks just can't beat that. And unfortunately, mine could not. But both rounds 6 and 7 went the same way. I was playing against dogs. Yes, dogs is infinity as well. And both were playing pretty much the same list, except my round 7 opponent was also playing Snowfort. They were both on Eleanor's. I believe they were both on Queens. And I still ended up winning all 4 games against both of them. Like I said, Green Purple is amazingly good against aggro. All those purple tools, the Elsa, the 2-drop Diablo, that's the 1-2 but has Challenger 2, all make quick work of aggressive decks. So I was feeling really good. I decided what deck I was going to play. I decided to play the exact same 60 for Saturday that I played on Friday. And every single 1 or 2 of card, when they came up, there were times when they were amazing. And I figured, let's go. And partner also was able to get over 40 cards signed that day. Good day for both of us. Now we move on to Saturday. And fortunately, my partner is having problems with their PlayHub account. They're also a competitor. But I also figured the day would be really good as long as I didn't run into Red, Blue, or Blurple, both of which are really bad matchups. As long as I avoid them, I'd have a great day. Moving on. Would you like to play a snowman? That's how I greeted every single opponent I had Saturday once I sat down in front of them. Nobody was disappointed to see me. Everybody was happy. Quick question for the comments. Why did I have the hat on? And round 1 in Saturday, I was playing against another Amethyst Emerald deck, very similar, had the Diablo shift, had many of the same pieces, but this deck was a little bit more aggressive, and since my deck was a little bit more slanted to beat the aggressive decks, I ended up winning 2-0. So good start. Round 2, I was up against a hyper Amethyst Steel aggressive deck. This list is the one I'm least sure of in the entire presentation, but I did manage to win that 2-1. All 3 games were very close, but again, Amethyst is great against aggressive decks. And here we go against my best matchup, and unfortunately, my opponent had 3 Akud Moody's, and every single game, I ended up losing 1-2, but I still managed to win game 2 somehow, so I'm proud of myself there. Uh-oh. Here's Blurple. This one is second worst matchup for Emerald Amethyst, and the reason why is that they also have evasive answers in Elsa and Sven to take out my Diablos and other evasives like Dumbo. And what happens in this deck a lot of the time is that they get their card draw up, they get an ink advantage, and eventually they'll just overpower and win. Again, Green Purple doesn't win fast enough to go under Blurple. And I still managed to win. I lost the first game, but I was able to win games 2 and 3. I was able to, Snowfort came in clutch in order to keep my evasives alive long enough to get the card draw to outdraw them. And round 5, this was not a mirror, but was another Amethyst Emerald deck that was playing Diablo. They had a very interesting combo with It Calls Me and Chernobog. It calls me to get all of my characters out of my discard, so when they played Chernobog, only a very weak character or no character would come back. They also had Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo, which not only helped with Chernobog, but also managed to double or triple the same Elsa. and very close games. I made a mistake where I ended up drawing before taking out the enemy Diablo and gave my opponent 2 cards for no reason, which I think contributed to the loss. But I'm still 3-2, still alive. Oh no. Am I? Another Blurple deck? This can't be good. However, I won 2-0. Turns out I found all of my card draw, and this version was playing, got both games got Let It Go and Hades, so I ended up with a ton of ink that I was able to draw and use all my cards and flood the board and get there before they could. I'll take it. Let's go. Again, last 2 rounds ended up with against the same deck, Amber Steel Song. I believe that every single list was the same from what looked like. They're all playing the list that won the CCQ back in Southern California 6 weeks ago. And I won all 4 games against both opponents. So I'm up to Sunday morning, and one of the great things about going with somebody is that they can take your tickets as you get them and head straight to get some promos before they were sold out. Thanks, babe. Oh no. I start with Blurple yet again for day 2? Well, I beat Blurple the other 2 times. This time I can keep going, right? Nope. This player was just a tad bit better than the other 2 I experienced on Saturday. I managed to win game 2 somehow, but was not meant to be. That's okay. I have round 10. What could it be? Okay. I faced Blurple 4 times up to this point, and there's only one thing that can happen when you combine a bad matchup with very unlucky draws, and sure enough, I did not win a single game. So at this point, my tournament is over. I end up 6-4, but still had a blast. Every single one of my opponents were incredibly friendly, and even when I was in unwinnable positions, I was still joking with my opponents. I was still happy to be there and still playing a game that I liked. So I think that was one of the reasons I was successful all weekend, is that I was still having fun even while losing. And I still had a little bit more Lorcana to play. I did sign up for the Super Sealed at noon. So I was feeling good that I still got to play that. And it's fun. 4 packs from each of the last 4 sets. But my card pool was pretty bad. This is not much of an exaggeration to say that these were my only good cards. So was definitely playing red, definitely playing steel, and even though I had fun, only won 1 match in the Super Sealed. I'll have to try it again and, maybe do better, but that time it just literally was not in the cards for me. And of course, Monday had to return home on the open road. And while Buc-ee's was the highlight on the way to Indianapolis, A&W restaurant, also in the middle of nowhere in Ohio, was the highlight coming back. Best root beer partner and I have ever had. And the burgers were actually really good there too. Would definitely recommend that restaurant if you ever see it. Unfortunately, there are none in the Mid-Atlantic. Come on, guys, move over here. And just had a blast this weekend. It was my first time getting day 2 in any major tournament, whether it was Magic or Lorcana. Another big bonus, because I got so many tickets in the Friday event, I was able to spend so much less money than at DLC Richmond and still ended up with a playmat and all the promos that I wanted. So awesome time. Thank you all, and